My name is Richard Reyes. I was born September 2nd, 1984, and my branch of service, United States Marine Corps.
Great. And one more thing here, the war or conflict that you served in?
I served in Operation Enduring Freedom, and I served in Iraqi Freedom. Oh, I was born in Los Angeles. At the moment, you don't really know what you're getting born into. If you look at it now, it's a poor household. But growing up, our parents made the best, so we didn't seem poor. In my opinion, I thought we were rich. But in reality, my parents were fighting week to week, paycheck to paycheck to make us go to the right schools. And so we didn't end up like my cousins. I got a couple cousins that are in jail. Others are not doing too well. So my parents wanted to give us the best life that they didn't have.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Burbank, North Hollywood, keep switching around. My rent was crazy back then, but it's even crazier now. So when I have an older brother, and all his friends joined the military, and a lot of them were very, partly, if you would have seen them, you were like, there's no way they're going to have a bright future. That's just the truth. Yeah. All of them right now are doing really well. They all, 4 of them serving the Marine Corps, 2 serving the Army, 1 serving the National Guard, and 1 joined the Air Force, George Petito.
Right.
So thanks to them seeing the transformation they came, you couldn't convince me not to go.
Yeah.
My parents are both born in Mexico. They took a while to get their citizenship, but they're legally here. They're citizens now. And most Hispanics, they didn't want me to join the military because of the misconception of they're just going to use us and we're going to die. But my parents knew that's what I wanted, and they raised me right, so they trusted me. And at 17 years old, I joined the Marines.
That's amazing. And what was when you had the idea and you brought it up to your parents? What was their initial reaction?
No.
They didn't know.
It took like 2 months from the recruiter to talk to them, and my mom finally signed off without my dad's consent.
Oh wow! And you said that your brother's friends were in the military. Did your brother join?
No, he did not.
No, he didn't. Okay. And why did you choose the branch that you did?
I heard it was the hardest, and they told me I couldn't. My dad straight out told me I wouldn't be able to make it. I wasn't strong enough. Wow. So I decided to prove everyone wrong. If it was the hardest branch, I might as well try it.
Yeah. Did you do any training beforehand, before you joined? Like, did you prepare? Did you do any preparation?
I want to say I did, but I didn't. I was a track and field runner, so nice. I felt like I was already ready. I was wrong. I was cocky, but I wasn't ready.
Track and field. Which high school did you go to?
I went to Burroughs.
Burroughs?
Burroughs in Burbank.
In Burbank, okay. That's cool. When so you joined and you went to training. Do you have any vivid memory that you have from training, basic training?
It was back in 2002, and honestly, I can still remember like it was right now. Everyone was scared. You have everyone from every age, every race, everything there, and I was scared. But everyone else is scared. You see in their eyes. If they're not, they're faking it. It's just a different reality. Yeah. You're thrown into a place where they deprive you for sleep, food for 3 days to see how you're going to react. And that's just to get you started. And then every day you start noticing you're changing differently. And by the time you're done in 3 months, you're a whole different person. You don't think so, but the way you react, the way you see everything else is different now.
Yeah. Wow, that's... And when you were in basic training, do you recall any instructors that may have, maybe either kept in touch with or that stood out from all the other instructors?
Honestly, I look them up here and there, but I know a lot of them had a good career. They all finished 20 years. It was Staff Sergeant Rodriguez, Staff Sergeant Ibarra, Staff Sergeant Jimenez, and Staff Sergeant Smith. Staff Sergeant Ibarra, he might not know it now, but he always had an impact on me. He knew at the moment I thought he was picking on me, but he was just making me stronger. Thanks to him, I wouldn't even never graduated. But it's kind of hard to catch up to somebody because during that time we didn't have social media.
Yeah.
So, and some people don't like social media, so they're not into it.
Yeah, they want to stay under the radar.
Yes.
So after basic training, what was the first assignment that you were given?
Well, I went to 29 Palms for communications. I was a wireman. It's like telecommunications for telephones.
Yeah.
Then after that, I went to North Carolina in Camp Lejeune.
Okay.
At that time, my unit was just coming back from Fallujah. So all of them were hardened. It was during the push, so a lot of them were coming back very different.
Yeah.
Because at that time, we're in a war where we really didn't have the funds or the gear or the training to face it. So a lot of people were, we lost, I believe, 3 people during that time. And as we were a support element, so we weren't really supposed to lose people. So if the support element is losing people, the actual people in the front lines were getting hurt. So there was an opportunity to volunteer to go to Africa, and all those, they didn't want to go back. They just came back from a year deployment, so they offered it to the new us, the fresh people that just came back. So I took it. I went to Africa, Djibouti.
Okay.
I was there for 6 months doing helicopter missions.
Nice.
As an 18-year-old, we were in charge of providing communications for helos. We were running a humanitarian effort, picking up special teams in Ethiopia, all around Africa.
Wow.
So it was exciting and rewarding. I stayed there for a year.
Was Africa your favorite? Would that be your favorite assignment?
I have honestly, all of them are different, but it was one of the most I had fun.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't have that much responsibilities. I wasn't a leader at the time because there was only 6 of us, so we were all just in charge of ourselves.
Gotcha. And you said it was a humanitarian effort. Did you ever feel somewhat of a rewarding experience? Helping out the area.
It was actually, I think it was more rewarding, the fact that it always changed my life. Because seeing how they grew up, if I grew up poor, it's a whole nother road out there. You walk off base and you see like mountains of trash on the railroads and kids looking for food or anything.
In the trash.
In the trash.
Wow.
You try to give food to somebody, you give it to a little kid, and you have an adult just literally, physically abuse them for that food. So if you're going to give food to somebody, you have to do it very nonchalant or have them open their mouth and just shove it in there. Because you see, it's the road is not as beautiful as people make it out to seem. There's really good out there, but there's also really evil. And I feel as being in the military, we're ambassadors of the United States to show the people there is good.
Yeah.
And it was changing. It was very different. You see everything there. As an 18-year-old kid, you're seeing it like smack in the middle. Like if you think of Tijuana, times it by 10. You have drug lords, you have prostitution, you have theft, you have everything there, but you also see how innocent people are that are not used to everything. There's just like a mild difference.
Yeah.
We dug a well for a village, and it was just seeing their look, seeing of our equipment they never seen in their lives. It was amazing.
Oh, so that area didn't have any water, any running water?
Some areas didn't.
Wow.
So it was a joint effort. So there was the Army, Marines, Navy, and we all just combined together. Every different units around the United States had different elements. So we were with the Army oil drillers. So they dug wells for different people there.
That's awesome.
Well, throughout my 12-year career, there's a lot of different stories. I might have 2, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I could use now and maybe for our society is going through different stuff is I remember growing up I had a sergeant, Sergeant Jones, and he used to be hard on us, very hard. And after a while I'm like, I got fed up. I'm like, you're constantly harassing me or in my opinion, I thought he was. You're constantly getting at me, you're not getting no one else. He told me was, you shouldn't get mad that I'm correcting you. The moment I stop correcting you, that's the moment you should get upset. Because I don't see no more potential in you. I'm on you because I see something better in you and I know you can fix it. The moment people stop harassing you, stop correcting you, that means they lost hope in you. And that's one of the things after that, as a leader, I try to teach all my Marines. Yeah. Even to wherever I go now, to my nephews and in the society, I feel a lot of people don't want to get corrected, or they think they're too old to get corrected. I think we all learn something from everybody. And that's one thing that I always try to teach people and explain to them. There's always a reason. It might not come out the right way, but I think their intentions mean well. Yeah. So that's one of the...
That's really good. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that with me. Take that advice.
And I guess another story is my tie-in with everything that's going on right now. Growing up, I'm sorry if it might go off topic or anything like that. Okay. Growing up Mexican, I know how to be, in my mind, growing up poor, my dad, my parents, they might not seem racist, but some people might think they have the different perspectives of different races. And in that mentality, I'm like, well, maybe they're right. But joining the military, you see it's the misconception that some race is this, some race is that is completely wrong. You see growing up in the military, everyone's just different. Everyone's the same, everyone's different. It doesn't matter what skin color you are. My best friends, they're African American, and we grew up completely different. And to this day, I consider them brothers. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, they're more brothers to me than my actual blood brother. So that's something I always carry with me. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're related or anything like that, your skin color, everyone, we're all the same.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So 12 years?
Yes.
12 years. Do you have a recollection, or were there any feelings that you had when you were nearing the end of your service? Is there anything that you'd like to share? You know, do you remember that day? Do you remember maybe the days coming up to the end of your service, or how did you go about ending your time?
It was just nervousness and scared and being scared. I'd done it for so long, that's all I know. So now going back to a road that changed. And yes, I came back to visit every year. I was here, but in reality, things change all the time. The valley is not the same it was in 2002 that it is now. I got out in 2015, it was completely different. Yeah. And just a readiness of it. We have a transition program in the military, but it's only 2 weeks, and it's 3 hours. They're not going to teach you everything right off the bat. Luckily for me, when I got out, I had a good friend of mine, George Petito, yeah, that took me under his wing and just showed me we're not alone. And that's one of the things I've been, in a way I'm proud of. Yeah. I have been trying to help every veteran I can. That's why I volunteered to be the commander of a VFW, so we could help veterans. We've been losing way too many veterans to suicide, and I feel some of the reason is they're not ready to come out, and we need to change that. Your office does a beautiful job of helping veterans, making us feel at home. That's why when you asked me to come here, I couldn't hesitate to say yes, because you guys are one of the office that doesn't just help veterans to make yourself look good. You guys do it because your heart's in the right place. There's a lot of veterans in Congressman Cardina's district, and I feel you guys do a good job of it.
Thank you. Thank you. So VFW, and I know you had this sentiment of wanting to give back to the veterans. Did somebody reach out to you from the VFW, or was that the closest one, to where you were living? Or from that veteran organization, why that one? Why did you choose that one?
They had a school drive for every veteran who was going to college or any kids that they had, and they gave out school supplies. At the moment when I came out, it was I didn't know what was going on, where to go, and they had an open house. So when I went there, they sent me the right representatives to put in my claims and help me out with school, and they just opened the doors. And I gave them a shot. All they said was, give us a try. And
That's good.
it was cool.
I want to go back to when you left service. You said it was a 2-week, the military assisted you with a 2-week transitional period?
Yes.
At any point there, did they refer you over to potentially, the VA to receive services if that's something that you needed, or was it kind of just like, well, this is something that exists? Like, how did they go about that?
They give you numbers, but I'm pretty sure a lot of veterans here, it's hard to get representation sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a wait, and there is good representation, but there's so many veterans out there. And that's why there's other organizations like the VFW, American Legion,
Right.
CalVet, that provide some of the resources that the VA does, or they know where to send you. Because when you're coming out as a veteran, you don't know where to go. They just tell you go to the VA. But that place is huge. Where are you going to go? Who are you going to call?
Exactly.
So that's why they got, now these organizations have like mentors to point you in the right way, and so you don't waste your time.
Would you say that if you had, I guess this is just like a softball, what would be like an appropriate number of weeks you think a veteran would need? And I know every veteran's different, but 2 weeks just sounds like too little.
I think so. I think they should do it maybe a year out.
Year out, yeah.
Year out, 1 day a week. There's so much information out there that they get, it's too much sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're trying to cram it in a person for 2 weeks. It goes 1 year out the other and some.
Yeah.
Yes, you have the few that's just jotting everything down, but there's so much emotions that's going through your mind. You just spent 4 years, 8 years, 20 years of your life giving it to a service. I feel we should get a little more.
Yeah. I'm going to share that with the congressman. I want to say, a question I want to ask here is, I know we may have already covered this, or you may have expressed this already, but overall, how did serving change you?
The person I was when I was 17 and now is completely like, you wouldn't even recognize me. That person is 17 will not recognize the 35-year-old now. And the 35-year-old will laugh at the 17-year-old. It has changed me a lot. It has changed my whole family. I think it has led me to my wife and my beautiful kids, and it just changed my whole perspective. I was ignorant before, and just seeing the road and how cruel it is and how different it is has really changed me. I never thought, without the military, I would have never been a college graduate. I never thought that was possible. And now I am.
Did you use a GI Bill too?
Yes, I use a GI Bill.
Awesome.
And I also use the voc rehab, thanks to your office, that actually helped me out with that.
Awesome. Nigel?
Yeah, Nigel. I never graduated on stage in high school, so the first time graduating was at Valley College, and your office provided us with flags and coins. I think we were the first year that happened.
Oh, that's awesome.
And just receiving that and receiving that too showed that people care about us.
Yeah.
We're not just by ourselves, and it was something else. Definitely. Not only to myself, but to my family too. Yeah. My flag's proudly hanging at the house.
That's awesome. Is there any message that you want to leave to any future generations that may be hearing or viewing this interview?
Then never take no for an answer. There's always a way. There's always opportunities out there that we might not know, or our parents might not know, our friends might not know. It might take some work, but get your nose dirty. Check into different stuff. There's opportunities. You want to go to school? There's opportunities. You want to get a trade? There's opportunities that you don't have to spend money. There's so many stuff out there. We live in a beautiful country that's so many opportunities for us. And a lot of times we make excuses for ourselves. Don't take no for an answer. There's a way. Is it going to be easy? No. But if you really want it, go get it. If your parents didn't get it, your brothers or anything, do it for yourself.
That's good. Is there anything that you'd like to add that we didn't cover in the interview?
Not at that moment.
No? Okay. One more thing. We're still a little short on time. We still need a couple more minutes to reach the minimum requirement for the interview. Let me ask you a couple questions regarding, I guess, being a veteran, Veterans Day, right? What does being a veteran mean to you right now?
Being a veteran, it's I don't know. It's kind of like a tough question for me because you were just saying that there's some veterans that didn't want to come up here. Honestly, I didn't want to come up here either, because you're right. Some of us, we feel that it's not important. We did it because we love our country, or that's the only option we have. But for whatever reason, I did it when I was in war so many times, and volunteering was for my brother to my left and right, my sister to the left and right of me. Sometimes it didn't matter if what's going on back home. At that moment, you're there with your brothers and sisters, and all you want to do is make sure they come back home. Being a veteran now is making sure we all look after each other and make sure no one else dies. I lost a lot of brothers to suicide. Sergeant Day, which I named my daughter after him, I didn't think he was going to do anything to him. You never saw now you're seeing it, yes, the signs were there, but at the moment you would never think someone so beautiful and strong like him would consider that, but it happens. There's thoughts that go through your mind sometimes and you don't know why they're there, but after talking to certain people, we put a lot of our military through a lot of hard stuff, and one of the things the community shouldn't be too hard on us. If someone says the wrong thing or do the right thing, they were put in a situation at a young age, they had to grow up. And I feel now, as a veteran, we have to look out for the other veterans out there. There's too many veterans that are homeless. There's too veterans that are self-medicating to drugs or alcohol. And as a veteran now, I just see myself as an ambassador to help them out. And we have to.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't want help, but they need it.
Yeah, that's true. And Veterans Day, I know there's a lot of commemorative events that the country has, and the biggest being Veterans Day. What does that day mean to you?
It's a time for honestly, for Veterans Day for me is to go to just to see everyone giving back to veterans. Sometimes I don't want to sound like I need people to say thank you, but sometimes it's nice for people to realize that there's so much hate in the world right now. It's nice to know people still love the military. Because I understand there's some good and bad military, such a good and bad police, but we wouldn't have the world we have right now without the military. And it's nice sometimes to be appreciated. Or just to see other veterans, like the dinners that Congressman has. You get to meet other veterans that are going through the same thing as you are. Because yes, there's a bunch of us, but it's hard to find them sometimes with work, school, everything going on. It gives you a time to connect with friends you haven't seen, or just meet new friends, and you understand you're not alone. You're going through the same battle. Sometimes you feel like you're in a twilight zone, that you're the only one feeling these emotions because you're secluded to your family. But there is other veterans out there that are going through the same thing, that might need your help, advice to go through it, or could give you advice to get out of it. So that's veterans for me, is just to connect with other veterans and just unwind for a bit and just reconnect.
That's good. That's good. I want to talk about the challenge coin. I've talked to several veterans, and every veteran gives me a different, origin of the challenge coin, where it came from, why it's given out, and how to practice the coin check. Right? It's what they call it. I like I said, I've heard several different stories, so I'm not too sure with what it is exactly, and I'm sure you might have a different story to share. Do you mind sharing, maybe your first challenge coin, why that challenge coin was given to you, and then how you practice, if you carry a challenge coin today, do you practice a coin check? And if so, what does the coin check really mean?
It's funny because I'm a history major and I still don't know the origin.
The origin?
It changes, it does. I got my first coin when I went to comm school.
Okay.
They offered it, we bought it. So it really didn't mean nothing.
Okay.
So I was in Africa leaving a mission, and there was a general standing by. It was a pretty tough mission. He gave us some challenge coin. At that moment, I realized what it meant. Is you can't tell everyone thank you. You can't tell everyone good job. But that challenge coin, I still have it. It's not the fact that he gave it to me. It was only remember the hardship that we did our mission, we accomplishment. I also got an award for that. Joint Achievement Service Medal. It's I got it when I was 19. It's high up there for the military. Even throughout my career, I always got challenged of if I'm wearing it, did I earn it? And I always had I earned that one, and that represents the coin too. You can buy them, but once someone gives them to you, it's an honor because you earned it. It's not bought and I don't carry one. Because a lot of people buy them and they just want to use it in my opinion, to get attention.
Right.
I'd rather just have them at home and display. If people come over, I can explain the story, how
you got them.
How I got them.
That's good.
And I lose stuff. I don't want to lose them.
That's right. And so the coin check, what exactly? How does that happen? How does that go about?
Well, I guess every branch is different, and even every unit is different. It's just to show, like, if you have a Marine Corps ball, we have a lot of military, you challenge someone. If my coin is higher than yours through deployments, the person that gave it to you, then I'll buy you a drink.
Okay.
So if you have a congressman that have a general, the congressman trumps it.
There you go.
So the congressman is it's up there.
It's up there? So that's one you'll take to the ball. That's one.
Actually, no. I have a Secretary of Defense.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And I met him by accident too.
Which secretary?
Rumsfeld.
Okay.
I was in setting up a PA system, and some older gentleman just came by and started talking to me. My back was through I couldn't see him, and he was just telling me to walk him through it. So I walked him through it, showed him everywhere, give him a tour, and when I realized who it was the Secretary of Defense, so he gave me a coin.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's one of them. I will always, if I really want to go in a competition, I'll take that one.
There you go. There you go. I would assume the president might have one too, right?
Yeah, he does.
And that would be the highest.
I believe so.
That would be the commander in chief.
I met President Obama.
Okay.
He came to our base in Hawaii. He comes. He has a home there, so every once in a while, I don't think he tells anybody. He comes during Christmas. Our unit was very small. It was an infantry battalion, 3rd Marines, 3rd Battalion at Hawaii. And so we could only send half of our team for Christmas and the other half of the team for New Year's.
Okay.
My family, we're a New Year family. So during Christmas, we gathered around whoever's there, and we went to the chow hall, the cafeteria. And that time it was completely different. There were security guards, special
forces.
Yeah, they were there checking everybody. Once you're in there, you had to wait a couple of hours until he came by, but he came by to every table and talked to us, took pictures, and he promised us coins, but he never came.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
you ever meet anyone that had one?
No.
No? Okay. That's really cool, man.
I'm pretty sure they're out there, but that's hard.
You promise you. Let's send that inquiry over to President Obama. That's cool, man. Let's see. Let me see if I have a final question just to wrap it up. Okay, so this interview has been, it's about you, it's your story. This is going to be, in the Library of Congress. What would you like people to know and remember about your story? Maybe just in a couple of sentences. I want to say maybe that means, your legacy, how do you want people to remember this story,
Honestly, I feel that if I did say some stuff that's my opinion and my story and the way I feel, if they don't agree with me, maybe try to see it out a different perspective. If I could change someone's opinion on certain stuff, or maybe let them see a different outlet of life, then I feel it was worth coming here.
Yeah.
And my legacy, I feel it's my kids. How I changed them, or anybody I touched throughout my life, that's my legacy. I have a lot of Marines throughout my 12 years that I still keep in touch with. Seeing their progress, some of them are like 30, 32, 21, 20, and just see their career was shaped. That's my legacy.
Yeah.
Even people I still meet right now, young veterans through the VFW, through American Legion, or through school, and just, if I could change a certain aspect of it, then that'll be my legacy.
That's good. Awesome. Thank you so much, Richard. This has been a pleasure.